Hi, what's up, guys? My name is Terumi. I've been teaching Japanese for 7 years, and also I'm learning English and Greek and German. I love learning new languages because, simply I can make friends everywhere in the world.
What's going to YouTube, SoundCloud. It's going to be Donnie coming to you from Pinku Style Podcast, just like normal. I have a special guest with me, Terumi Kai. Terumi Kai, correct? I said it right? Your name?
Yeah, Terumi Kai, yes.
Terumi Kai. So I want to make sure I didn't mess up your name or anything. So, guys, a lot of time we're on Facebook and stuff like that. You see a lot of ads, and that's how I came across Terumi and the GLF, which is a Japanese language factory. And for me, it was good timing because I have a bunch of kids. I have a Japanese wife, and my kids are getting older, and they're speaking more Japanese, and I can't understand what they're saying, so I really have to learn Japanese now. So it was perfect timing that I seen an ad there, and then I clicked on it. Like most things on Facebook, some things are like spammy, but this is actually a real, business out there. So again, I have Terumi here. She'll speak on her business, how it started, and her journey to Athens and all that stuff. So before we get into it, Terumi, just introduce yourself to my viewers, and a little bit about yourself, how your business started, and we'll go from there.
Great. So I've been entrepreneur for maybe 12 years. My first business was a cooking school in Tokyo. Before was I was just office work. I even didn't go university. I was just growing up in the countryside. It's called Niigata.
Right.
I was born in Yamanashi. I grew up in Kumamoto and then Niigata. And then I said I want to challenge something totally new. Then I moved to Tokyo. That was 22. And then I started the cooking school. But then I see myself that that's business is really interesting.
Right.
But if I don't speak English, I cannot actually get out from my country. And then I just wanted to challenge more. Then I should learn English. I was dreaming to speak English. It's cool things. And then I moved to Europe. I didn't actually move to United States or Australia. I mean, I was quite old already, 28. I cannot go even a working holiday or something. So I just moved to Europe, and I was searching where should I live? Where can I live? And I just end up in Greece, which is totally not English speaking country,
right.
but. And then, maybe I can learn many languages anyway. Europe is so many languages. And English and Greek at the same time start learning was 2015. And I start living. And then, okay, what can I do? I lost my job in Tokyo, and then now I'm living in Europe alone. And what can I do? Maybe I can teach some Japanese things, Japanese, maybe manga or culture. And I start doing anime class, I just translate anime and this stuff. And I start teaching Japanese seriously 2016, and then until 2019 I was teaching a Japanese language inside Greece. That's it. But it's a 2019. It's I just try to think maybe I can be YouTuber, and maybe I can try a little bit more outside of Greece. Then I start doing this YouTube, and then now it's became a more kind of international. We really have students from all over the world.
That's awesome. And I think for you was perfect timing because, we'll talk more about cooking school and stuff in Tokyo, but it was good timing to start the program because now with we're on Skype right now, you have Zoom, and it's making the world before, even 20 years ago, the world seemed like a really big place. And now because of social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, it's now we can talk. So when I email you, I honestly didn't expect to get a message back for maybe 2-3 weeks or no message at all, because I message a lot of people and a lot of business owners, and I just want to collaborate with them, even though my business is cars, but business is business. Entrepreneur is entrepreneur. So I'm, a lot of thanks for responding and everything and getting on the podcast. So it was very quick and very professional too. So people out there who are looking to be a customer, I will become a customer as well of GLF, and it's a very professional program, very professional emails, and it means a lot, from another professional to another professional when things can work that easy, because it is difficult to, you're very busy, like you said before, you're a single mother. You've done a lot of different things, so your time is very important, and again, very, arigato gozaimasu for that. So for
Thank you.
for the
I just want that.
so before you kind of before I know your home. You say you're Yamanashi, correct? Is your hometown?
Yeah, I was born in Yamanashi. My mother is living in Yamanashi. Yeah.
Okay. So, and I'm, of course, for the people who don't know, I'm in Misawa, Japan, which is about 9 hours, 8 hours by car north of Yamanashi. I'm at the very top of I'm in Amori. So Tohoku perfect, Tohoku area. So it's very, a lot of cold, it's very cold in the wintertime. So I always traveled, to like Osaka, Tokyo, Yokohama, all over the area to race and drift cars and all that stuff like that. So always down there. So like in Tokyo, you mentioned that you lost your job, and what happened with that stuff? Like, why did you leave Japan in that area?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't kind of lose a job, but I said I quit my
Mm,
job. It was like a nice, it was good timing, like because my employee like give birth and then they
mm,
actually leave, and then okay, like I don't have so much employee now, and then
right,
okay, maybe I think just I can close, and then I think it's good timing because that was I was 29. So
right.
like, oh, before 30, maybe I can just leave country and I can maybe discover more different world. And that was just a good timing. And then just close my company and I just left.
Mm. And it is. I think it is really good timing because a lot of times, again, I mean, I've been here 15 years, and that's I know I was watching a lot of your videos, and you had one video where you were saying one of the your customers, he was living here 10 years and he couldn't ask for water, and it was pretty. Your videos I've been watching a bunch to try to learn
Thank
your
you.
style, and it's a few things. You remind me of a few of my Japanese friends I have where, well, you're different because you actually started the business and you left Japan. And I know a lot of Japanese who they want to, I say, break out of the matrix and do different things. Because again, you're Japanese, so you definitely know. I've been here 15 years, so I've seen how a lot of Japanese are afraid to be not normal. Like they want to be like the same regimented life every day. And with my wife, we kind of, I'm like, look, you don't have to do, you can dye your hair red and do different things. You don't have to do the normal thing. And I know Japanese, when they're being raised, it's a certain system. So every culture is different. Americans are kind of, more talkative and more, some Americans are really loud and different
Mm.
things. So in Europe is different, everywhere is different. So it's definitely cool that you went out and did that, because it's not for the people who are watching for the first time, meeting Terumi or watching my podcast. Japanese really don't normally go outside of Japan or do different things, so it's a very courageous thing to do. So very cool for that.
Yeah, thank you. Like what you said is totally correct
Mm,
because maybe I have a whole school friends, like maybe 1,000 friends, like because from elementary school, junior high
right,
school, right?
right,
And then I think living outside of Japan is I think only I know two
right. Yeah,
outside of out of 1,000, right? So you can
right.
really see most of people don't leave the country.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's a reason is so clear because it's Japan is it's one of the safest country,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
they don't want to be like kind of dangerous
yeah,
situation. Of course they're gonna stay, they don't want to
yeah.
be in the danger first, but it's like me or like other my friend is like want to explore the world, then they just leave. But I think it's the majority is, of course, they want to stay in Japan.
Right, and that is true. As far as I have 5 kids, and it's cool to be able to, stuff happens sometimes, and Masawa is like really is extra safe because we're away from the bigger cities, and I mean I keep it real. When you get closer to the Tokyo, Osaka, the bigger cities, there are more gaijin there, and it's not saying that
Mm.
because there's more gaijin there that there's more crime, but there's things like in my world the biggest thing is car theft. So cars get stolen a lot, and it's honestly when they do the paperwork, it's a lot of Brazilian, Ugandan, Pakistan. So they unfortunately are a few little bad gaijin, and in Japan when it's like a small group of gaijin, bad, they think all gaijin are bad. And then military stuff happen, and we can't help. So my I've been there 15 years. I love Japan. I've only done good stuff. I never done bad stuff, and so it for me is bad when I meet an older Japanese person and they like udasai, get away, and I'm like, okay, hi, go aside. So when I first come here, I would go to car shops, and I didn't know like this. Not really. You don't want to go into somebody's property. So I would say, oh, cool skyline, and I would go there. Then, Oji-san, dame, get away. So it happened, but at first I thought it was, I thought it was like something I did, but maybe 10 years ago, some gaijin steal from him or something like that. So whatever. But as far as the company and everything, so the JLF and everything, I know you said again you were over there in Europe, and you were trying to figure out what you wanted to do and start everything. One thing I did see, and I know you read the comments sometimes maybe, and I've seen a lot of people, and I wanted to comment too, and that's why I messaged you, because I'm like, I want to talk to her. So a lot of people were saying, well, why is it only Americans? Why only Americans? So can you explain that, and like then like why did you target American first, and why didn't you say like Filipino or Pakistan or whatever? So why was that?
So the simple reason is because when I started this master course to the world, we didn't know who's gonna come, because we just started this master course and to the world, and maybe Filipino will come or American people come, or we didn't know like who's gonna come.
Right.
And over the year, and only American people is coming, like really.
Right.
Of course, a lot of Indians and Filipino apply for our course, but then maybe expectation is different. For example, they want to have more certificate things, or they want to write down kanji or reading books, these type. But it's all American said to me, I don't care like writing or like reading books. I really just want to communicate with locals.
Right.
So
they want to get girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly. I want to have a girlfriend. I want to more enjoy my life, which is our needs, our what we can provide, and their needs was exactly same.
Right.
So that's why, that's American people don't want to write down kanji, and we don't want to teach you kanji, and we are the same.
That's true. That's true. I knew the reason, but I wanted to hear from you. Because a lot of people, we just meet for the first time now, and it's like, again, being a business person, one thing I know is like, there's less business in the world than consumers, and consumers are, a lot of people. So I really relate to a lot of business owners that even somebody who's selling t-shirts or whatever, it's taking your money and your time to buy products or get products, and it's a very hard thing. So I kind of was getting angry because, people were like kind of being disrespectful and saying, oh, well, it's not Filipino, so I don't want to do. I'm like, it's kind of they being baka. Like, don't be, don't be like that. So it's, and then, and another thing too, I understand now after I watched some of your videos, you were saying, 2 months, and people saying, well, how can I learn to speak even conversational level in 2 months? And then when I watch your videos, it really makes sense, because everything that you said is what I did when I got here. I try to do the formal style of this, and my Japanese friend said, hey, we were racing, and I had like a Mavis Bacon language book, and he said, let me see the book. He said, we don't speak like this. Then I said, what do you mean? He said, we don't. He was laughing at he was like, that's how you speak to like, Prime Minister Abe or somebody like, hi. It's like very formal. Like, we don't speak like that. We're drifters. Like, we say kakoi, or we say different things, and we don't talk like that. So after that, I don't pick up the book anymore. And then I kind of, like you said, time. So my Japanese, I learn it as I go, just like my car people and my jujitsu people and my motocross people. So what you say is, and I kind of want to get your idea on it. It's like, learn Japanese for the area that you want to, do. So if you're only doing around car people, like, you shouldn't be learning about, Japanese about farming. Like, that's not going to help you if you're talking to car people. So is that your idea?
Never use it.
Yeah. Is that your so is that your idea for how to skip, don't worry about trying to write kanji and stuff like that? That's your idea, or how do you think about that?
Yeah, exactly. Because learning Japanese, I always say learning Japanese is maybe more difficult than becoming a doctor. Because try imagine, we have 50,000 letters and 500,000 words like in the vocabulary.
Right.
And if you just go educationally, okay, step by step, like how many hours you really need to study, like 8 hours, like
Right.
10 hours.
Yeah.
But you guys want to work, of course. You want to relax after work, and you don't want to study like a crazy, like after work, like 5 hours. But it's the amount that you should study to really understand the whole Japanese is you really need to spend in like 5 hours every day. So then, you're gonna give up or because it's a fuck it because it's I
Yeah. Yeah.
cannot
Yeah.
learn. Or you just actually specifies, okay, because I want to make a friend in the car industry, I just want to drift and then just make a friend. Then,
Mm.
okay, let's learn these communication, which is like, hey, you're going to talk about like a car, like you're going to talk about maybe next week, where we going to go. These actually conversation is all the time is happening. It's not cool because you cannot just say, hey, like next week where are we gonna go, why you cannot say these things, even the children can say these things. So that's
Yeah.
why okay, let's actually specify and then categorize what you want to talk, and let's exercises. You can pronounce much better, you can communicate much faster if you specify the category.
Mm.
So that's actually our idea because the children learn like that way.
Mm.
Children will not learn, all aspects of Japanese suddenly. They actually expand the conversation topics step by step.
Yeah.
They cannot talk about the politics. Doesn't mean they are not fluent. So
Right.
yeah, that's actually our idea.
Yeah. That's perfect because a lot of times, and again, I watch maybe 6 of your videos. Just very, very, very nice YouTube again for the people who again new to my channel, new to Terumi Kai on YouTube, and she has multiple channels for like the Greek and all that stuff. So again, not only speaks English, Japanese. You're in Athens. You speak Greek and then German. So it's for me is people say what I do on a daily basis by building cars and racing cars is cool. And I'm like, for me, I guess I've been doing it for over 20 years. So it's normal to me. So to see somebody like yourself later in life and you're picking up languages, most likely, people in the military, we call them linguists, and they speak multiple languages, Chinese and different things. To be older, people say, it's harder. And I kind of was one of those people. I kind of like, well, I'm 39. I'm not going to be able to learn Japanese now.
We're close. 36
yeah,
I am.
Yeah. And so in your video, really, like, even though I knew I should probably only focus on things that I didn't do that. And I have a lot of Japanese friends, so we talk, and I would pick up things and not really grasp them because I wasn't talking to them every day. And yeah, it's definitely cool, and I look forward to becoming a customer of yours and really learning Japanese, because as a business person here, what kind of hurts me sometimes is if I have to have my wife translate for me, and when I'm speaking to another Japanese businessman, I could tell his body language, like he's lose respect for me because my wife is talking for me. So I look at his eyes and I look at his body language, and it's like he don't want to do business because he's talking through my wife. And then when I'm saying something to him, I'm not trying to be mean, but business, you understand, you have to be like, you can't be nice, and she'll make my words nice, and then it kind of doesn't. It's a waste of time. So I've lost a lot of business with Japanese because I don't speak fluent, and so I have to really, being a business owner, my business has been open 6 years here. So I know enough Japanese to get around, but it's situational. And if you ask me right now, I can't really produce it. But if I get in a situation where last week I was driving out to Fukushima and my tire blew out on my truck. So I, on the toll road, I call and I, said, gomenasai watashi, I just say whatever. And I said, no, tire punku, and, go shaku hachiju is where I was at. And that was in the conversation. So a lot of people, they can't even say that. And it's very simple. And like you were saying, some people get really, my sons, they get really like shy about speaking English. I'm like, dude, like I don't. And then when I meet Japanese guys at racing, it'll be one guy in a group that speaks English and he'll speak to me, and the other guys are giggling like schoolgirls. They're laughing like, oh, he just said English word, sugoi. And so why do you think Japanese are so shy to use English?
I
Why do
Yeah,
you?
so there are several reasons, right?
Yeah.
Like Japanese people are quiet people,
Right.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
All over the world. Like I really travel so many places and I met so many nationalities. And then Japanese people is quiet, most quiet people ever.
Yeah.
As a native also, I can say that.
Yeah.
So which is very quiet, which is polite, humble. This is
Mm.
our race, Japanese people. But then, if it's the people are quiet or shy, speak different language, it's like you actually on the stage, you sing something in front of the people, something like that. Like it's really d- hard step to
Right.
speak totally different
Yeah.
language, which is different, like music or something.
Mm.
Like a karaoke. We like karaoke.
Yeah.
But so that's why if maybe the majority speaking English, more and more and more people, maybe they just maybe people start following. But it's still like I mean because I'm hiring the people
Right.
to become a Japanese teacher in our school, right?
Mm.
And we cannot really easily find the really fluent English speaker in the whole Japan. So which means no one really can speak like English properly.
Mm.
So like for us, I think it's really hard things. And I also, it was not easy to learn English. It was really hard for us. So I think it's first of all like motivation and no one talk, which is like if you talk, it's gonna be kind of weird. Or how you gonna speak so English like
Mm.
so it's not majority. So
So.
but it's
Uh,
yeah, like if you say like do you want to learn English, then everybody say yes for sure
mm.
because it's cool things. We
Mm.
know Hollywood movie, we know like American Horror Star, and then we want to speak of course, but it's the reality is no one speak. Even the English teacher in this high school or junior high school is, do you like tennis?
Mm.
Yes, I do. We learn like this. So like
Yeah.
it's like how can we learn
Yeah,
really?
yeah. And then again, all all the videos really make sense because I really recommend people who want to get on check out the Japan Language Factory because some people are they're like 2 months this has to be a scam and this and this. I just think when you have a good system, and again the system, if you go on YouTube, she talks about a lot of the stuff, guys out there who are watching and listening, so you can actually get free lessons to see this is how you do certain things and don't say certain things. Because like you said before, I was just watching one when you were saying like there's just like 20 different levels of politeness. For example, again, you're talking to the prime minister, then you're talking to the president of a company, then you're talking to the manager of the store, then you're talking to somebody you just met at a track who maybe he's a doctor, but you're both drifting, so it doesn't matter. You're drifters. So that's the biggest thing. I think a lot of people, I think when they want to learn a language, they think like in a big spectrum instead of understanding like, hey, if you're just doing judo, just learn, hey, how do I do this throw or this throw? How do I do different things? And just learn judo terms. And eventually those words will be some regular words, and then you'll learn other things. So, definitely, again, excited to learn. And I didn't tell my wife I'm going to start doing the course because I kind of want to surprise.
Amazing.
Because sometimes I'll say something in Japanese, or her and her mom are talking, and I'll say nani or whatever. Then they look at me like, he understand what we're saying. So then they stop talking. I'm like, no, you can keep talking. So it's pretty cool. So my wife is she was I met her about 6.5 years ago, and she was driving a Mitsubishi a Lancer Evolution. That's how we met, because I seen her in the car, and I was like and she had just got the car when we met and everything. And that's another thing too. I got it written down here. So Athens, like you say you live in Athens, Greece, correct? So
Yeah, actually, I'm living in Crete, in Greece.
Oh,
It's a
Crete.
Crete island.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know in English. It's Crete.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Crete. How do you say?
Crete. Like Crete is.
Crete.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that.
Yeah.
So what made you? All right. So I got a lot of questions. I know we got a little bit of time, but all right. So did you speak English before you left Japan, or did you speak after?
So when I left Japan was 2015.
15.
I barely speak English a little bit, like not like a YouTuber thinks
Okay.
it's impossible. Like I just say like how much or that's things.
Right.
Most of actually like foreigner in Japan also can do ikura or
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
ore or something like
Yeah.
something like that English. Yes.
So, cause Yamanashi is like a little bit by kind of Yamanashi is below Kanagawa desho.
Yeah.
So did you have did you run into a lot? Because I know Yamanashi, you have Yokosuka, which is a naval base, and then so did you meet any American people or did you date anybody who was American before?
I have dates, yeah,
Oh, sorry.
yes, but it's not that time. When I was living in Tokyo, yes.
Okay.
But it's Yamanashi, it's no foreigner. I've never seen
Yeah.
any foreigner in
Yeah.
Yamanashi.
That's
Yeah.
the
We
places
have only Mount Fuji, nothing else.
yeah. That's the places I like to go. Like again, I'm prior military. I was Air Force, and I came to Japan in 2008, and it's one of those things where I when I'm with my wife when we go eat ramen, I say, "Oh, Gaijin gonna be here." I'm Gaijin, right? But other Gaijin who are here for like 2 year, 1 year is different attitude. Very loud, very rude. They think if they put O at the end of something, it means Japanese. So plate O or steak O or it's weird. It's funny, and I don't like being around. I don't like being around other Gaijin. It's weird because. Well, I spend time in Iraq and everything, so I don't like being around a lot of group of people because I was in Iraq for 3 years, and combat stuff, whatever. I don't want to talk about that too much, but I don't like being around too many base people because other Japanese like I can see Japanese Oji-san looking like they don't want to say something, but they want to say hey be quiet or too loud. Then they think like me. Then I will say to them hey can y'all be quiet. And then Oji-san will look at me and like, he happy because they show talking loud and, kind of making people scared because they think it's going to be fighting. But no, it's just Americans talking normal. So again, you say you've been around there. So when you're in Japan and you see a Japanese woman speaking English, did you assume that she have like maybe Japanese boyfriend or husband or what did you think?
You mean like the question is like if the Japanese woman can speak English
Yeah.
in Japan, they can have or they already have
already. What did you think?
They already.
Yeah.
I think the person Japanese, especially Japanese woman who can speak English in Japan is definitely several possibilities. One is maybe their English teacher because. They like teaching English and they have TOEIC 900 or something. They learn English and they're teaching. And then equal, they want to have maybe American boyfriend or, husband,
Yeah.
And the second possibility is they already studied abroad, like United States or Canada or somewhere, Australia. They studied English in abroad and then they came back and then again teaching maybe English or they're just working in the English environment, maybe somewhere in the international company, which means, of course, these people who can speak English, they want to have the foreign guys. I mean, gaijin. Yeah.
Yeah. That is, it's for me it's weird because the I've only since I've been here 2008. I want to before my wife I dated 4 Japanese women. And they were all old. I got it. The younger girls. I don't go to clubs. So like the 21-year-olds, they're very, very kawaii. But young mind. I don't want to date with because I was older. I was like 28, 29, 30, whatever. And so the first person I date she was actually 41, but she looked 28. and she spoke perfect English. And I met her on a site called Japan Cupid. And I was talking to her while I was in Iraq, and she was from Sendai. I don't want to say her name, of course, but very nice person. But she had 2 daughters, and she spoke very good English, but she was very Americanized, if that makes sense. Like she was very American minded, and actually that was for me. It was I was a turnoff because I wanted to date a Japanese woman. I didn't want to date somebody. She went to college for 4 years in America, and I won't again I don't want to say too much because people could try to put this stuff together, but her mindset was very, very American, and I was like, I don't. If I want to date American, women, I'll date American women. I don't want to date Japanese women, And we didn't, because of that and some other stuff, it wasn't anything bad, and everybody I dated, it was never like I did something, or I was just Gomen, you want to do this, or I have to do this, so maybe we shouldn't date anymore. So always respectful. A lot of the guys in here, they do whatever, get pregnant and they leave and different things. So I know she was worried about. So she was right. Well, the problem with her, she wanted to get married like right away. Like we were dating for like 3 weeks, and she already talked. Yeah, she like, oh, so what do you think about getting married? I said, hajime mashite, yoroshiku onegaishimasu. Like I said, we don't even know each other yet.
Why?
Yeah.
These women like who really want to have a kid, I really don't understand why.
I dated 3, and all 3 wanted to get married like right away. And after I said, gomenasai, we're finished. Then maybe 2 months later they married. Then 2 people already leave for Japan already. So it's kind of strange, but I didn't lie to them. I said, no, I'm not ready to get married.
Maybe they want to leave Japan. Yeah. They want to live in United States, the easiest things, I can't live in the United States, even 41 years old, it's going to be difficult. Let's say if she doesn't have any career or something, living in the United States from 41 is difficult. So I think that's hate, maybe.
Yeah. After they leave too, they hate life because they like you said, they see Hollywood, then they get America, then they realize, oh, it's not safe here. It's very dirty in some places. People are very rude and different things, and then they want to come back. So I told my wife, like, she thinks that America is a certain way. So I said, once we go there, I will show you, like, sometimes, married people, different things, not perfect life, but she don't understand how really good Japan is, how safe it is, how clean. So she have to go somewhere else to see, like, how good Japan is. And every place not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but
definitely.
And then again, you're over there and where you're at. So have you been to like the Rome Coliseum and all that stuff? Have you been like doing tourism there, or how's that been?
In the United States?
No, over in Athens.
So in Greece, because you mentioned like why I moved to Greece. So if I talk all the story, it's gonna be long. So I'm going to quickly explain. So the reason why, so it was 2009. So almost 10 years ago. Yeah, 10, 15 years ago, right? And then at that time I was not in the in the entrepreneur. I didn't study. I didn't start the business. Right. So which means I was just an office worker in Niigata. Do you know Niigata? Like it's a big northern.
I was just there last week. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Great. This time like I had a fiance. Like I supposed to get married, but he broke up with me. Unfortunately, it's okay. And then, I don't have anything right now. I don't have boyfriend, and I have just only boring life in Niigata. And then, like I can move somewhere just to travel, like crazy place that no one knows. Like no one knows is that something that I wanted to go. Like the United States, everybody go. Right. Australia, yes, everybody go. London, yes, everybody go. So I wanted to just discover totally different place, and I just pick up like the Greece. Okay, Greece. What is the Greece? I don't know what is this. So let's go. And I went there, and I saw like the different world from Japan. It is everything. It's different. I've never seen anything. I've never seen even the TV, and it was everything different. It was huge impact in my life. That is, the world is huge, and I don't know anything. I should not feel bored or something in just a small place in Niigata. I just don't know what is and the world, and I should discover.
Yeah.
And so like something I gave, the Greece gave me a huge impact, and I just feel thanks to Greece. That is like because that point I decided to move to Tokyo. I decided to be an entrepreneur. I decided to challenge in my life every single year. So something I like really changed my life. So that's why thanks to Greece and I can come back like after 15 years, like 15 years or something. So that I just now live in Greece because just thanks to Greece
So
that this gave me a power.
how was when you go to Greece? How was it for like I have permanent residency here in Japan, and a lot of people don't know that's really difficult to get. Japan doesn't allow anybody in, and that's the reason why it's so safe. But for Greece, how was it? Do they have a program with Japan for foreigner
Nothing.
or nothing? So how was how was it for you to get like house and stuff like that there? Was it difficult to start, or how was that process?
Yeah, it was difficult. Usually the Greece is the government doesn't have so much money, and also the people don't have so much job.
Right.
It's a Greek crisis for so many years. So which means that the foreigner go to Greece and they want to work in the office. The government doesn't allow if you don't have some specific skill or something.
Right.
So no one can work in Greece so easily. So then, but I was just not expecting to live in Greece right away that time. I was just traveling, and if I actually traveling, maybe I can learn the language, and then maybe I can find any opportunity, something. I was just expecting the opportunity, and then like learn the language, and maybe business chance, or maybe like a special encounter or something. And actually, I met now I divorced, so that's why it's gonna be ex-husband. So I met ex-husband, and then. Yeah, the Greece is allowed to have the visa, like a couple visa, not married visa.
Right.
Like stay together. This is like a couple visa, like even the gay or lesbian can actually live together because this couple visa. And we actually start living with a couple visa, and I actually started this Japanese lesson too. So that was, I think, the trigger to start living.
It's cool. Like I said, it's for me. It's always cool because people like they see you there in Greece, and they probably figure like they don't know your life, and like you said before. Like I think we're gonna do another podcast maybe later because there's too much to talk about in a short amount of time. But people like, she's Japanese. What is she? Mongolia? Is she from Vietnam? Is she?
Mongolia, yes.
Yeah.
People ask me so much, Mongolia, or are you from Thailand or something?
Yeah. Because it's for me, I know I can tell Japanese, Korean, like I know different difference between everybody. And for me, like when I come, I got to Japan by the Air Force, but before that, I was in Japanese cars, and then anime and stuff like that. And one thing, and I definitely want to ask, because this is a lot of people don't realize. I realized once I start learning a little bit of Japanese, when I watched anime again, they actually didn't say that. Like the subtitle is like a generalization of what they're talking about. It's not word for word. Like I was like, I was watching Initial D is when I watch a bunch, and Takumi Fujiwara. And I went to Gunma and all that stuff, and Mount Haruna, and I seen all that. So I was really like, fanboy for Initial D, and I actually drift professionally, so it's cool. But when I watched Initial D again after maybe 5 years living in Japan, the subtitles was all wrong. Like they weren't saying like, Kuruma Kakui or this, that, and different things. They were saying different stuff, and it's kind of cool to read it to now not need a subtitle too much. But in your opinion, do you think anime is good or bad for people trying to learn Japanese?
So yes or no? I can say yes and no. So that's cool. Actually, English generalization. You said that's exactly so. They are not translating exact English, exact Japanese to English, because if you translate directly, such a different culture. The American people cannot understand what exactly means.
Right.
Because Japanese people, how they talk or English is very different. So that's why it's exactly like general things it's written. It's nothing about Japanese language. So that's why if you're not focusing on the Japanese, actually the voice actor, you cannot learn any Japanese.
Right.
But if somebody can focus the voice actor what exactly is saying this anime character, of course you can learn something.
Mm.
But if you're just looking at the subtitle, you cannot learn anything. It's totally different. For example, let's go. It's written in the subtitle, but
Mm.
it's not saying maybe let's go like let's start or something.
Right.
It's just different actually.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely. Yeah. It's definitely cool. And then for me, I have, it's a thing in America where it's subs versus dubs, and subtitles is subs, and then dubs is English over Japanese. I hate that. I do not like. I'll watch many things with no subtitles just to have the real. Even though I can't understand Japanese, if it's a dub, it takes away, like, I watch a lot of samurai stuff. Is samurai, I like really samurai life and different things. So I will watch old movie but no subtitles, and I can't understand it, but if you put American voice over it, it kind of changes the feeling. So a lot of people, my friends will watch dubs because they don't want to read. They just want to watch the anime. But they change the name, they change the music, they change the feeling of the anime. So if you watch the Japanese version, total different feeling, even though you can't understand. You can understand the voice. If the person is screaming or they're sad or they're crying, you can still hear it in the voice. But if it's translate or dub over, you can't hear that stuff. So that's there. But so much stuff there. So one thing I got a bunch of stuff here, but you mentioned that cars, you said you like cars. So what kind of cars are you into?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
when you contacted me,
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you because why I applied so quickly,
Yeah.
because your email was so funny. I'm not robot.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
thing, like first,
Yeah.
and like I really realized, oh my god, so many people think this guy that is robot. That's why you wrote
Yeah.
like I'm not robot.
Yeah.
And then, oh, wow, that's so simple. So yeah, I'm gonna contact. And I check your activity, and it's like, about car. Oh yes, I love cars.
Yeah.
So Japanese car, I love Subaru Impreza.
Honto.
Yeah, that was like a 90s, the supercar. I love it, like a WRC. And
Oh, yeah,
I wish
yeah.
I could drive like a Subaru Impreza with
Well,
a real racing.
well,
Right now, I really love Audi R8, Audi R8 RS series. Everything is, I love Quattro because that's Impreza also,
yeah.
the Quattro. So, and so Audi also making Quattro, which is really safe, and you can really go everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of my biggest hobby. Yes, is a car.
That's cool. So I actually I just sold a WRX Impreza like last week, and I'm actually working on right now a GC8 Impreza, older one. So I work on all Nissan, Toyota, Honda, Mazda. So for me, I started with Honda. Almost a long time ago, like 25 years ago, I started working with Honda. So in America, Japanese cars are very, very, very popular, and now they're getting really popular now because the age is in America is 25 years. After 25 years, anything can come to America because the value they say is lower. But Skylines, all the cars are now going over there. So my business is performance, building cars, racing, and also shipping cars to America and all over the world. So I do
Wow.
different things. So but it's weird. Some people with the car stuff, like, I'm glad that you like cars, because some people they'll click my profile and they'll think, well, what does this car guy want to speak to me about, language or whatever? And my podcast is about all the stuff I like to do: music, cars, sports, anime, whatever. So I talk to different people. So I'm glad that you messaged back. So when you come back, so when was the last time you were in Japan?
So the last time was 2017 January.
And then,
Yeah, so it's due to the corona, and
Yeah,
also
yeah.
I'm quite busy because my daughter is 6 years old, and it's not easy to actually go with this quarantine situation. So that's why, yeah.
Yeah, I think that really, I'm angry about the whole Corona stuff, business stuff, and I can't travel and race. And I went to America to the last summer, and that process I lost. I had to be in quarantine 14 days. Actually, I did quarantine right here in my studio, and I lost about 21 days away from business because of that. So as a result, until Corona is finished, unless it's a really, really big money, I won't leave Japan because it's too. Just leaving the airport took 3 hours to exit from Narita. It was a Narita or Haneda. I think Narita. So to get out of the airport, 3 hours. We have to wait there. Then we have to wait here. So for me, a business person, and my business is shipping stuff, and it's been really really bad, for the last 2.5 3 years and everything. So, but it is what it is. But it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, I totally agree because even the 3 hours very important to me,
Yeah,
and I cannot lose.
yeah,
Sometimes because I heard that you have to really wait sometimes 8 hours in the airport. I cannot do this.
yeah,
It's
right.
too risky, and so the time is always
Yeah,
important, and I don't want to just wait the
yeah.
airport 8 hours.
So how long is the flight from Greece to Japan? What and yeah, how long is
So
that?
the shortest is still 17 hours.
Yeah,
The longest can be 36 hours.
because you can't. Yeah, now but the whole Russia stuff. Now you can never fly directly across Korea, so you have to go like down and through
Yeah, like
Dublin. And,
Dubai,
yeah,
this, the
yeah,
area, like
yeah,
southeast,
yeah,
no, south, yeah, the south side, yes, not like a north.
yeah. So now the flight is the 17 hours longer because they got to go all the way around. They can't.
Mm-hmm.
There's no fly zone. So that stuff's bad. And again, I've been in combat, so I really understand that stuff. So I was really, I don't really know what's going on over there in Russia, Ukraine stuff, but Corona, Russia, Ukraine, then it's too much stuff happening one time. So unfortunately for your business, it doesn't require people to travel, so they can do it from their home. And again, that's why I want to take advantage of it and sign up. So it's definitely going to be cool, and different things like that. So for the your business, it will be like based out of where you're at. So do you have are you going to expand? I seen one of your videos, you say you're going to hire people. So are you looking to have agents on different continents, or how you going to do that for the future?
Mm-hmm. So long term, in the long term, our the goal is to, of course, like teach all languages,
Right.
and then also expand this learning method, because our learning method is really unique because we don't teach letters, we
Right.
don't actually use grammar, but we actually really focus on the pronunciation training to communication training.
Mm.
It's not about Japanese language actually, but it's our team member is all Japanese, that's why we're teaching Japanese. But in long term we want to teach maybe Chinese. We hire Chinese people with the same learning structure and to teach Chinese or Korean, which is one of the most difficult languages, 3 languages. So that's why in the long term, learning a structure plus different languages. And then, we want to expand all over the world. If somebody really want to learn new language as soon as possible and speak with a native people. Mm-hmm.
And then, again, I've been through I do a lot of research, so a lot of people spend time on Netflix. I watch Netflix too, but I was going through your website and everything, and I'm going to start the process this week. And it's one of those things like I made a note here. I started this. This is actually episode number 143 for this podcast. I started a podcast back in January 2019, but I was going to start maybe 2 years before that. And now there's all these different podcasts, and it takes time to get like your numbers up and numbers growing. So it's very critical, I think, for people out there to start now, because everybody, I'm going to start after my kid graduates school, I'm going to start learning Japanese, and it's too late. You have to start now. And I think, again, people again watching, listening, definitely, it's not because I'm talking to Terumi here that I'm pushing because we just met. But I looked through it, and I looked through different other schools as well, and I really like this approach where it's direct and it saves time, because again, everybody's busy, so you don't want to sit there with flashcards and try to memorize, because you're not, like you say before, you're not gonna retain the flashcards. You can memorize it, then you have a conversation at the Lawson's, like I want aka karage kun onegaishimasu, and they like you can say that. I like the karage kun there. So then when you go to Family Mart, you don't call the poke chiki karage kun, because they like, we don't sell karage kun, it's poke chiki. So I call karage kun and Fami, and it was like the person, she don't speak English, so she's like go inside, no more karage kun. Then I said right there, karage kun, karage kun. She said karage kun janai. Then I said poke chiki.
Fami chiki?
Fami chiki have the poke chiki is called poke chiki. Then Fami chiki. Then I'm like go inside. Then they have ego under everything, so it's pretty cool. But again, like you say, that I never study for that. I just I went on my phone and I was like, how do you say karage? Then chicken, karage. Then they say karage-kun. So it's kind of like you say, it's very, you have to go out there and learn, because if you try to do it in a book textbook and then you go to the club and you try to talk to a girl, they're going to laugh at you because you're speaking. They don't want to speak like prime minister. They want to speak like young girl at the club and have fun, tanashi talk, not boring older person talk. So yeah, I think it's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because so many people are struggling to, memorize, right? Because if we could be like a, cyborg, like a robot, we could already learn 10 languages today.
I was already
we wish, really.
Yeah.
I want to be half like a robot, and I can learn today 10 languages, like
Matrix, like
like a Matrix, yeah. But it's unfortunate we don't have that technology, so we really need to make effort and learn, step by step. And okay, today I sleep, and tomorrow I don't remember anything. That's actually over and over. Right. So then, so the main problem is you are forgetting. But it's actually, I met a neuroscientist, and they really talk about this. The human can learn anything, and then they never forget. Actually,
right?
They just cannot put out, the input and also output is different activity in the brain. You're actually inputting all the time. If you're not outputting, you cannot output.
Right.
So which is like a different part of the brain you are using. So if you're not using every day, which is if you're not outputting all the time, which is output speed, it goes super slow. So that's why, what should I say? That's happen all the time.
Right.
So that's why input one and output one, exactly, you have to do it. So that's why you need to use it every day. That's why, like Famichiki, if you're outputting, you actually really can say quickly.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Yeah. And then again, for the what I was about to say, for the you're talking about output, and it's like, that's when people kind of forget things. So the language, like I say, language is very Hindu is different things, and then like you say, Greek is learning Greek is one thing, and then learning Italian is one thing. So every language has their different different dialects, different styles. One thing for me that remember I told you about my friend who said we don't look at the books, we don't speak like this. And that same trip we went to a onsen. And we were ordering food. They had a restaurant there, and it was an old Obachan, old lady, like really, really old. She's like maybe Hachiju-san, old, and she was working, walking really slow. And he was. They were saying, "What do you want to eat?" And he was ordering, but I look at his face, and he looked confused. And after he said, "Hi, I want miso ramen, blah blah blah, whatever." Then after she walked away, he said, "Oh, I don't understand nothing she said." Then I said, "Oh, you're Japanese and she's Japanese," but he said, "No, but she's Sanju-san and she's Hachiju, different, old Japanese, old style." So I was like, if you can't understand Japanese, then how I'm gaijin, how I'm going to understand? But I didn't know it's just because he's Saitama, and he's 33 years old, and she's Nihonmatsu, and she's 85 years old. Well, maybe she was 75. She wasn't 85, but she was very old. So is that a problem too, where you see a young Japanese person can't speak to an old Japanese person? Is that a thing, or just maybe him?
Yeah, I mean, Japan, it's not like a big like United States,
right?
But it's also quite not so small, which is like a whole United States. So you can go New York, Texas, California, Seattle. They speak totally different English. And if you go Australia, United Kingdom, you really see different English all the time, constantly, right? Which means, of course, in Japan, you actually learn something in the textbook. It's no one speak like that. And especially like Aomori accent, Kyushu accent, Hokkaido accent all the time. So you need to actually you start meeting people and they start using and start understand this flexibility. And otherwise you cannot really communicate because everybody speaks differently.
That you see how I was just about to say, you said you probably listen to me. I'm saying and people are like, why do you now? I've been here 15 years and I was in America and I'm talking to my buddies. He's like, why do you keep saying I was like, go man. I was like, that's what Japanese people kind of do instead of saying, yeah, okay. Like when you're talking, they just say, and my wife does it, and all my Japanese friends, when I'm talking about cars, they like, soka, hi, wakarimashita. Like, and so like, you're probably like, this weird that I keep saying that, and it's normal. I guess it's normal now. So it's one thing, I watch, a lot of celebrity guys in here, and I see them on TV, and like the one black guy with the afro, and then there's the one white guy who always say, like, why Japanese people? I forgot his name, but like they like, I've had issues with some of those type of people because they speak Japanese very fluent, and they look down on all guys who don't speak Japanese. Then I say, oh, well, I'm not fluent in Japanese, but I'm the only American with a performance shop in Japan. And I did it without speaking Japanese fully. So that's not the key, because I know a lot of people who speak Japanese, but they don't really do much. They just teach, and they normal life. And then some Americans, when they speak, their style is really, why do you, is that something Japanese like, or, when an American person speak Japanese is like very Japanese style, or is it like a Japanese person speaking American? Because if you don't speak like, like if you say like, kakui or whatever, then somebody from Osaka, they like kakui is like the different type of kakui or whatever. Is it bad? Mm-hmm. Is it bad not to speak like Japanese or imitate Japanese? Or I hope I'm not confusing you with this with my question.
Yeah, I totally understand.
Yeah,
I think I speak English. I try to become like American, and also Greek. When I speak Greek, also I try to be like a Greek.
Right.
And when I speak German, I try to be like German. And then I actually try to imitate the people. I mean, native people, because it's not like I want to look like smart or something. It's just that for them, it's just comfortable, you know?
Right.
Let's say, I go to Texas and I speak English like Japanese way. Like, let's say, hello, thank you. If I do like this in Texas, because this podcast, you cannot see me, but it's like I just bow. I am Terumi.
Yeah.
I want to have water. Let's say if I speak like Japanese tone English, it's just weird. It's not like communicative.
Yeah.
It's just maybe grandpa in Texas, maybe. Oh, those Asian people is weird.
Yeah.
They actually do like that. I don't understand what they are doing. I don't understand what they're thinking. It's so weird. The face was like the robot. And they are not smiling. So, it's you actually go there and imitate the local. It's just you become more friendly, and it's actually suits with the local. So that's actually my concept.
Here's the best
if I
stare
want
down.
to learn different language, if I want to speak with a local, I try to be the same.
Oh, so that's good then. So it's. I guess you don't realize that you're actually like doing that, because when I speak Japanese, the little Japanese I know, I'm not trying to like act, but then you don't realize, you like you say, saying watashi, or wakarimashita, because I say like a lot, because Japanese, they assume that you don't know Japanese, and they'll say, do you want, and it's good, and it's very cool. Like when you go to Lawson's, I go to Lawson's a lot. You go to Lawson's, they say, do you want chopstick or do you want fork? And I say hashi anigashimasu. Then they look, then their face is like, oh, he spoke Japanese, because if I'm eating a salad, actually hashi is easier to use than a fork when eating a salad, because you could pick up the corn and whatever. So every time when I'm like when I'm away from base a lot, so I go to like maybe Hiroshima. I was there, and no people see Americans, so I speak loud. Not loud, but I speak enough where people can hear. So I go there, and then they're saying, oh, do you want, she's like, she hold up fork and chop hashi. Then I say, hashi anigashimasu. Then everybody, oh, sugoi. He speaks, like, no, I speak no Japanese. I just know how to say small words. So they think you speak all Japanese. Then it's kind of funny to see their face. So I use my Japanese every day that I know. And I'm not shy. And the little bit of Japanese I know, I speak with confidence. So not like hashi hashi, and that's like shy person. And then they were like, oh, he don't know Japanese, whatever. So, and even like I've had some people like one time I was in I think I was in like near Fukuoka, and I drive all the way Fukuoka, everything. So I was Fukuoka, then it was like young couple, maybe 28, 29, and his girlfriend kept looking at me because my mohawk. So she's staring, and then he was getting angry. I could see his face. Then he kind of like, he say something to her, like, don't look at him, or gaijin, something. Then I said, Nani. I said, Nani to him. Then his face like, go menasai. So I was just saying Nani, but I don't know what he say, but I heard him say gaijin. But after I say Nani, then he kind of like, he think, he could understand everything I said. Then he said, nothing, go menasai. Then he walk away. So it's so guys listening and watching, if just say Nani or something like that, Nani kore or whatever, and they would think, he speaks Japanese. So it's pretty cool. So yeah. So and have you used because you understand English? Have you ever like pretend not to understand English before? Have you?
Pretend that I don't understand English. This thing's not happening.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think because I'm not living in Japan right now.
Right.
But what's happened is Greek. Of course, Asian girl who actually expect I can understand Greek.
Right. Right.
That's why most of Greek people really surprised when I said, like, when I speak Greek, for example, like what is like in Greek is tea. And so that's why, it's so easy, right? Tea. And then you said tea, and I said, you can understand. You can understand Greek?
Yeah.
Yeah, is yes. So yes. And what? Like they're really surprised, super surprised. Like they look at me like I'm like a spaceman or something.
Yeah, that's always. So I have a good amount of friends that they're fluent in Japanese, and I always get like, how did they learn? And it's just, they really, I don't have it's different styles. So I have Japanese friends, but I'm really alone a lot. So I work alone in my shop. I don't have staff, and so I don't talk to anybody all day for like 8 hours at a time. I'm working on cars, and I'm just, unless I call my parts store, order Subaru or Neji or whatever, I order from the store. So I talk to some of the stores, but it's definitely I have to force myself to. I'm not antisocial. I'm not shy, but I also don't talk for no reason. Some Americans always talking and always loud. For me, I listen a lot and I watch people a lot. So because Iraq, and Japan is safe, but it's kind of, once you go to Iraq and you train for that stuff, like you can't forget training. So you watching for danger. So when I go to the Buddha festival, Matsuri or whatever, everybody happy, everybody dancing, but I can't relax because so many people that I'm watching for danger. So if something happened, I can react and I can save, or my family, and whatever. And I need to calm down because I'm in Japan and it's safe here. Nobody has a weapon. Nobody's going to shoot anybody. But Iraq just really, it kind of messed up my mind a little bit. I'm not a crazy person, but Iraq was very dangerous, and we had to watch everybody all the time, and watching hands and pockets and different things. So, but that was long. We could talk about that stuff another time. And how's your time?
Yeah,
how's I don't want to, your schedule. How's your time schedule right now for time?
Yeah, I have 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Okay. All right. So what, what for your business, say in the next 5 years, what's one of the goals you want to accomplish with your business, and what's a personal goal that you have for yourself that you want to do in the next, say, 5 to 10 years?
So next 5-10 years, first of all, because I am a kind of little YouTuber too. So I want to make a hit, like one hit in the United States. That's something, people like my video. So I want to have like one buzz. Like million view, but I don't have like one of the biggest view was like I think 150,000 view. That is the biggest hit. And that was but in Greece. So that was a buzz in Greece. So I don't have any buzz in United States. So
Right.
that's why, yeah, in next 10 years, if I have million view, that would be cool.
Mm. Yeah.
And then also as a
So let's
company,
try to
yes,
think.
we want
What
to
is the
expand more.
person who
So now
cannot
we have a
speak
teacher
Japanese
around
forever? So this
6 people in
see the
our
Japanese
school. So
person. They are
yeah, as
already
much as
talking in
possible,
Japanese.
we
I
can
want to join the
have
conversation.
more high
And
quality
now this person
teacher,
start
10,
thinking,
20 people, and we can have more student. And then yeah, like we just want to make more effort to actually expand on more teachers, because high quality teacher is really
And then
important. So we need really hard training
Mm.
to the teacher to actually really can teach perfectly. And then also yes, the marketing and the sales side, yes, like, because now I am the kind of only one person can promote.
Mm.
So if I can have one more person that is can properly explain what is the learning structure, learning method, yeah, then I think we can expand more. So yeah, expanding all over the world, mainly United States, UK, Australia, which is most of our student is these countries. So yeah.
Yeah, and I was watching. That's definitely really good. That's a good plan, and like you said, it's true for us. The one person doing things promoting. One thing I will, for a promotion purpose, the I seen your ads all over Facebook and all over Instagram. So, and I know like I don't even have to ask a question because I spent a lot of money like promoting my because Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, they're business, so they're not gonna push your stuff. Even YouTube, they're not going to push your videos up top now if you don't do ads. And I did an ad on YouTube for exporting cars, and I got 3 customers. So I spent about maybe $500 to do the ad, and I got like the money back instantly. So it was pretty cool. So for the people out there, again, that's why I seen your ads and people were kind of being like she only want to teach Americans and I'm Pakistan or this. It's like no, it's just because I like you said, there was more Americans coming because you guys they're trying to learn for a proficiency test, and not saying that they can't learn do the proficiency test from your teachings, but your teachings is to get them speaking, to get them. You want to you talk to car people. This is how you need to talk to car people, and different things. And it's cool that you have a consultation before starting, so you can say, hey, what do you want to do? Are you cooking? Are you here for photography? Are you looking to be a model? And different things, and that's the reason why I want to learn too. Because one thing, I'm 39, but I want to do like modeling. Like I just want to. My wife was like, "Why do you want to send your picture to Tokyo?" I'm like, "Well, they might need a gaijin who with a mohawk for a movie or video," and it's like if they don't know your face or know your name, I'm really popular with car stuff, but outside of car world, nobody knows who I am. I just walk around Japan and they think I'm a strange gaijin with mohawk.
Yeah. Like, self-promotion is really important, especially, you're an entrepreneur
Yeah.
and you have a specific activity and you just want to let them know that it's who you are.
Right.
It's so important. Otherwise, you just be like a gaijin, nothing else.
Yeah.
So it's really,
Yeah.
you're losing a lot of opportunity. People are really searching maybe, and
Yeah.
you just don't know how to tell them. So it's really, you're missing the opportunity. And we have many students like really unique. We have community. For example, we have quite many athletes. For example, one of our athletes like a professional rugby player, and of course they are already playing in Japan, but they cannot speak any Japanese, which means in the long term they want to be a maybe coach, or maybe they want to maybe change the team, and if they cannot speak any Japanese, it's difficult to promote himself.
Yeah.
So that's why we have quite many athletes, and also of course several people are like entrepreneur, like a gaming company they have, or they have like a importing exporting company. Again, like of course you can have a translator next to you, but it's the real trust you really want to make with people.
Right.
You need to talk. You cannot tell like, hey, like I want to talk something, to give me some phrases from translator, and you're not really communicating with the real people. So yeah, I think you understand. Communication is not just you need a translator.
And that's that. And one last question before you go. You mentioned translator. Google Translate, is it good or bad for people to use that?
So you cannot communicate with the Google Translate. You can translate newspaper, definitely, because this is not communication. But it's Google Translate cannot help you to communicate because let's say you say it's great. You actually translate. You try to put a Google Translate, and it's written in Japanese is sugoi, right?
Yeah.
But it's great.
Yeah.
We can say so many different ways. It's not only sugoi. So the Google Translate is bad. Why? Because they give only one choice, but you have 10 choices for each, feeling. But it's the Google Translate cannot understand to give you 10 choices. So that's why only you can say sugoi, 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 sugoi.
Yeah, and I watched your video. You was like, stop saying sugoi, and it's like some American when they get here, like one of my buddies, he just come back to Japan, and he's just arigato gozaimasu, everything, like he just can't wait to say arigato gozaimasu because that's all he knows. So and he says it really good, and he sounds like Japanese, but that's the only Japanese he knows. Arigato gozaimasu. Like he just every time, like, dude, like learn how to say, then he said arigato gozaimasu, then I say like doi tashimashita. Then he's like, huh? What's that? Like I'm saying you're welcome. And so he's like, so now he starts saying you're welcome. So he goes to Lawson's and he opened the door. Doi tashimashita. Like that's different. Like you're saying you're welcome. Like they didn't ask you to open the door. You open the door. So, then it's saying like, dozo or anigashimasu. And it's like different. There's simple terms, but, anigashimasu means one thing and dozo means one thing. And then, so I asked a girl, can I kiss her? And she says, yeah, dozo. It's like, or anigashimasu. Like, what does it mean? Like, can I kiss? Yeah, it's like so different things. And
please kiss me.
Yeah. So it's different things. But hey, Terumi, it's been an awesome time, and we could definitely do this like many times. And we'll talk.
Definitely.
We'll talk offline about some more business stuff for promotion and things like that. Because my thing is, I have a lot of buddies in America and different places all over the world. So I am a gaijin in Japan running a car shop, and I do like Japanese companies, but the way Japanese companies work and the way American companies work are a little bit different. So I actually bring a lot of parts and things from outside of Japan too, and I introduce to my Japanese business partners because, again, stuff in Japan is really good, but they never know. Like I could save Gojumon if I buy this part from Australia versus buying from in Japan, and it's better quality and different things. So and then for your business, even though like you're in Greece, you're Japanese, YouTube is weird because again my account, my account is American, but my IP address is Japan, so a lot of my views are low because I don't write kanji on my, and I need to, I don't write kanji on my or hiragana on my titles, so I never get any views in America or in Japan. So it's like I'm in the Atlantic Ocean is where my channel is. It doesn't make sense. So my YouTube says like YouTube JP, and so my IP is there. So your stuff like for America, I can share stuff around and do different things. And again, hopefully from this you will definitely get some viewers from my my people and everything. So again, Terumi, it's been an awesome time, and I feel like we were just getting started for the conversation. So we definitely, when you get some more time in a later time, and I do podcasts all the time. So, maybe once every other month or whatever, check in, update or whatever, how you want to do it. And we could do that. So you have more students for today?
Yeah, I have one student. It's I think one is I have a meeting with one of the basketball player from United States.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah. We have actually getting quite a lot of athletes.
Yeah, so that's cool to me because that's me. I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. I do judo. I play football in America. I played college football in America before I joined the military. So I'm an athlete, multiple sports. Maybe you haven't seen this sport before. This is called lacrosse. It's a very popular sport in America.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Is it like how it's called? These things.
It's called. Well, this is a lacrosse stick. So pretty much this is the ball, and it's kind of like baseball, football, and basketball all in one. So you throw to your.
I have seen.
Yeah. So it's very. if Japanese find out about this sport, it would be I think it would be number one. It's very cool. Some Japanese play in college, but it's not popular enough. But it's very it's like soccer, basketball, and football all in one. As far as the and then it's like really skillful. So you twirl it around, it spins, it stick, and all that stuff like that. So it's pretty cool there. But yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So yeah, and that's another one up on the wall and different stuff. And yeah, so again, we can. I don't want to hold you up from your next customer. I know your time is very valuable. Thank you for your time. And
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then one thing, can I say something? Yeah, because when I hear your story, your friend, it's difficult to learn, next phrases because he's saying only "arigatou gozaimasu" and "arigatou gozaimasu" entire his life, right? Yeah. And you can just tell him, hey, you can definitely learn Japanese. You can learn new music, right? Because when somebody release a new music, you can actually learn the new song, which is new lyrics, right? So the language is like a lyrics. You actually just have a specific tone and the right tone, and also you actually sing. So if he can remember "arigatou gozaimasu," he can just learn next phrases, which is next lyrics. So yeah, definitely he can learn. So it's not about like grammar or something. You don't need to do this. You can just learn more new lyrics. So he can learn definitely more. Yeah.
So it's kind of biased because now I've had you on a podcast, and a lot of times after I have somebody on the podcast, we don't get to learn our whole life because it's not enough time for that. But that's one thing, we become like friends and start chatting and stuff like that. And so of course naturally you're the only Japanese teaching school that I've spoken to, so of course naturally I want to promote your stuff more because you've given me your time to help my podcast out. So I'll definitely promote. I'm gonna, again, like I say, become a customer of your company, and I'll promote it and push it out to all my friends. So hopefully you'll get more customers, and it'll be cool. So yeah.
Thank you. It was really fun, and hope see you soon.
Yeah. So just don't go yet. It's a little bit of stuff there. So guys, the key to success and stuff like that. I always try to. I end my podcast with trying to promote people, but success and all that stuff. Like you guys see a lot of people on Instagram, Twitter, and all that stuff right now, and you see even myself. I can make it more personal. A lot of my friends, a lot of you guys out there, you see all the cars I have and different things, and one thing I like to tell you guys, man, work is hard. It takes a lot of hard work to get that stuff and to keep that stuff. And so never look at people's lives on Instagram, Twitter, and whatever and think, oh, their life is the greatest, because they could have cancer. They could have different things. They could have a lot of different stuff going on. So when you see social media, different things out there, and whatever, how people living, don't assume that their life is so great. Like even Terumi, people can say, oh, she's living in Greece and she's Japanese and she's kawaii and all this different stuff, and they think like, all this stuff, and they don't know like your life is, as an entrepreneur, we don't sleep a lot because we have to do different paperwork, business, employee, staff, different things. So it's not an easier life being an entrepreneur. It's harder because you're not getting paid. You're not going to work at 9 o'clock and leaving at 5. We have to make our life. So it's harder for us, believe it or not. We're not like complaining about it, but don't assume that her life is great because she live in Greece and maybe Kakui guys there and whatever else and stuff like that. Life is everywhere the same. You have to work.
Definitely.
So
yeah, I cried a lot. I really cried a lot because it's hard and no one can help you. Yeah.
But only thing like those days where you're crying, but then there's other days where like you're sitting on a maybe beach and you're drinking something, and you feel everything that's all the bad times is worth this good times. So it's more good times than bad times. For me, when I'm driving, again, I'm in Amori, and I go to Yokohama, Kawasaki like maybe 2-3 times a month. So I'm always driving. And sometimes one day I was driving from, Mori to there. Then when I get to Tokyo, it has a different feeling. Like maybe, I guess, if you're in California, when you get to LA, it feels different. And it's just something, the energy there. And it was like a really good feeling. Like it was, a really hard week, but something felt really good inside because like I'm doing something really big in Japan. I'm the only gaijin performance shop in all Japan. Oh,
That's so cool.
mainland Hokkaido. And some of my friends they think like easy, or because I don't complain online about it because I don't want to talk about drama, or customer don't care about I lost money this week. Customer just want their product and their car fixed and whatever. So if a company is always complaining, people are going to be like, Udasai, I don't want to go there. I go somewhere else. So I never talk about bad stuff, but stuff happens all the times, but I keep it under and make sure the product is good and everything. So that's a long outro, guys. Just make sure, monitor your life. Don't look at other people's life and then think like, oh, my life sucks. Because I don't speak Japanese, I don't speak Japanese fluent. So I think sometimes my life sucks because I can't understand, but I understand now because I have Terumi help and her company, and I'm gonna learn Japanese like fully because I have to, and now I got this cool tool here. So I'm definitely happy to know you.
Definitely
happy to know your company, and definitely. We're not going to look at textbooks. We're not saying textbooks are bad 100%, shocker percent, but you can't sit there and read a textbook and then go out to the party or wherever and speak like that because you're not going to remember it. And conversations don't happen. They're fluid. So conversation can change anytime. It's not textbook. If you study, I want to go here and you study that and then you go to the store, then you like, I forget everything. Then it's wasting time. So,
yeah. I never said, do you like tennis?
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I've never in my life, even once. What was it?
Yeah, that's exactly it. All right. So again, guys, be sure to check out Terumi at JLF's Japanese Language Factory. It's just for JLF or Japanese Language Factory. It'll pop up as soon as you type it in there. Instagram, Facebook, and are you on Twitter at all, or just Instagram and Facebook? Terumi, are you on Twitter?
Facebook, Japan Language Factory.
Okay. So Facebook, then it goes to the website and things like that. So check out. I'll put the links down in the description so you guys can click on it because some of you guys are lazy. You don't want to type. So I'll put it down there for you. I'll put her at down there. So make sure you follow her on Instagram. Make sure you follow her on Facebook, and make sure you follow on YouTube her channels. She has multiple channels in Greek, English, and Japanese. So definitely follow those and everything. And just be sure to check out. It's going to be also on SoundCloud for the guys out there for audio. You can listen. And also, of course, as always, it's going to be on YouTube for the guys to watch there and download and do what you got to do there. So again, guys, thank you for tuning in for this podcast. This is going to be episode number 43. We're moving up there. Again, if you want to be a guest on the podcast, just please email me at donaldpodcast@pinkostar.com. Down on the pinkostar.com for business, and we could do it that way. Unfortunately, guys, I don't do any business on YouTube, Facebook, and stuff like that because it's not professional, and I want to offer you the best service I can. So definitely please email me down on the pinkostar.com. I check my emails every hour in an hour, so I'm not checking them 4 weeks too late. So just do that there. So it's going to be Donnie signing off from Masao, Japan. It's going to be Terumi Kai she's in Greece right now, not Japan right now. Believe it or not, she's not in Yamanashi. She's in Greece. So it's going to be Terumi signing off from Greece. Donnie signing off from Pinku Style Podcast. Masao, Japan. See you guys later. Peace.